Alright guys, welcome to this quick course in which we're going to be covering the special effects which you can add to your text. So this is going to be the final quick course. This really isn't necessary, but I still wanted to cover it just to make sure that you guys have a good understanding of what kind of cool effects you can be adding to your text inside of Premiere Pro. Let's go ahead and dive in. We're only going to be covering two special effects, which are going to be the drop shadow and the glow. And I'm going to be showing you guys how to make really cool drop shadows and really good glows inside of your text. So let's say your text either blends in too much with your video or you want to make it really pop out. How do you do this? Here are two effective ways that you can do it inside of Premiere Pro. The first one is the drop shadow. So you can search up for something called a drop shadow, and you can literally, it's called a drop shadow effect. You can add it onto your video. And all that this does to your graphic layer is it just adds a strong drop shadow. And the thing about drop shadows is you can really play around with these to make them look really good. The first effect you could do is just, bump up the opacity all the way and just bump up the softness so you guys can barely notice it, but you just add a nice black outline around the back of it, which just separates it a bit more. The second thing you could do is change its color to something different. So you could change it to like a light blue like this, and you could get some pretty cool effects with this if you like. Now this is way too much. I'll be honest with you, this does not look professional. So I would really tone this down and keep this super light, right? Something like this, barely even noticeable. But you can do a few really cool effects. I highly recommend you don't use this because this does not look good. Another thing that you could do is actually drop the softness all the way down so that it's blocky, and then play around with your distance. Then all of a sudden your drop shadow is kind of like an outline, right? And then you could set it to like a darker color, like this. Set it to a really dark blue, for example, like that. And all of a sudden you have a pretty cool effect. Where is it? We can't really see it. There it is. All of a sudden you have a pretty cool outline on the back. There are so many cool things that you can do with drop shadows. It is pretty much endless. So this is step one. If you want to make something stand out inside of Premiere Pro with text, you can add a very cool drop shadow and make it look really cool. The second way you could do it is with glows. And this is where a lot of, quick warning, this is where a lot of beginners overdo things and make their editing horrible. So please, when you discover glows, don't use it everywhere. And I mean this, okay? Keep your glows a very rare thing. Barely use them, because when you overdo it, it just looks very cheap and low quality. So please don't use glows a lot, okay? You have to first promise me that, and then we can get into glow. So if you search up glow, you're going to get something called a VR glow. If I add the VR glow, it's basically just going to add nothing right now. But when we change a few things, you guys are going to notice what this thing does. A VR glow just makes your text glow. There are a few settings to the VR glow. The first one is the Luma threshold. The threshold is how much is kind of cancelled from the glow. So how much do we hide from the glow? How much of the glow do we allow not to take? So the lower this value is, it's a bit confusing. The lower the Luma threshold is, the more the glow can glow, okay? So if I set it to 90, it's only going to glow, for example, the white. But if I drop it down to 0, it's going to glow the whole thing. The second thing is the glow radius. So the glow radius just determines how wide or big the glow is. The third one you've got is the glow brightness, which just determines how bright the glow brightness is. And the last one is the glow saturation, so how saturated is the glow or how desaturated is the glow. You can also select use tint color, which is where you select your own color for the glow and color the whole layer like that. And you can get some pretty cool effects. Please do not overuse this. I've seen this being used way too many times and it does not look high quality. Let me show you guys how to make a high quality glow. If we're going with the blue theme, just don't add a tint color, leave it as it is. Let's drop the Luma threshold. With glows, it's always important to go big radius, low intensity, okay? Never go high intensity, small radius. So don't ever increase the glow brightness and keep the radius small. That looks very low quality. Always increase the radius, increase it to like 200, and then barely increase the intensity. The better you do this, the higher quality your text is going to look, and this already looks amazing. You can also add a tint color to it, but there's no need. This thing just looks amazing. It's even too strong. I would even tone this down to like 3, and that looks awesome. Notice how subtle the glow is. It's not harsh. Don't go harsh with your glows. I have to say this many times. So many people in the community always go very harsh with their glows, and I always have to tell them, please don't go harsh on your glows. You will look like a cheap video editor. Make sure you always go subtle with your glows and simple. And when you add a VR glow with these properties, right, like a low Luma threshold, a good glow radius, a solid glow brightness, and something like this, like a big radius and good brightness, you're going to end up with a very cool effect. And you can actually add this to the rest of it. So you can right click and you can copy this, and you can add it to each of the texts to make them look so much better. You could paste it on this, you could paste it on this thing. over here. You can paste it on this thing. You can paste it on this thing. Paste it on all of them. Right, let's go ahead and paste it on all of them. Like this. There's a faster way to do this, but I don't want to show it to you yet. This is a sample video. Sample video is where I speak and I take a few pauses. Sometimes I might even say important things like this. Other times I'm probably going to say something absolutely useless. And there we go. That is how simple and easy it is to make really good text. Just use one simple color. Don't use a bunch of different colors. Keep it very light with the glows. Keep the effects subtle. Don't go crazy and overboard with the effects, and you're going to be good to go. So with that being said, guys, those are the two effects I wanted to cover. I'm not sure if there is one in Premiere Pro. If there is, I might also cover it. There might be. Let's just check this out real quick. Let me see. Yeah, no, don't worry about that too much. Okay, yeah, don't worry about this, guys. We'll just go ahead and cover that in After Effects. Okay, anyways, with this being said, guys, this is what the effects that we can add to our text looks like. And now that you guys understand the two effects that you can add to make your text stand out, you can also generate really good subtitles, you can make really good caption styles, you can make really good text animations. You guys are finally ready to apply this and tie it all together one more time inside of Premiere Pro. So in the next course, we're going to be going together and redoing all this process completely from scratch, as if we were editing a client's video, and we're going to be doing the text from scratch, the text styles, we're going to be adding those in, and we're going to be implementing our high quality glows into those and making a really cool glow and text. So with this being said, guys, I'll see you in the next course, in which we're going to be training and practicing on all of this, and then we can finally dive into our next stage of video editing. I'll see you guys there.